I'm going to read to you this story. It's called A Log's Life by Wendy Pfeffer, illustrated by Robin Brickman. And it says in here that this book is dedicated to all children who look for little creatures under rocks and rotting logs, but especially to, and she names several children. I think some of you like to look under rocks and under logs. Deep in a forest, a great oak tree stands. A family of squirrels lives in a hole of its trunk. A porcupine chews on its branches, and a colony of carpenter ants nests under the outer bark. I am going to be asking you to list a food chain that you see or listen to in this book. So if you would like to take out a pen and a piece of scrap paper so that you could potentially write down a food chain that you're observing in this book. So a family of squirrels lives in a hole in its trunk, a porcupine chews on its branches, and a colony of carpenter ant nests under the outer bark. A woodpecker pecks at the rough bark, searching for insects. He spears one, devours it, and hunts for more. So that's why woodpeckers like to peck on trees, because they're trying to get the bugs out of the trees. Wood-boring beetles burrow under the bark, chewing wood and leaving tunnels. Water and air seep into the tunnels. Toadstools and other fungi, such as mildew, molds, and mushrooms, sprout in these damp places. You can see the residue of the fungi. Slugs and snails crawl up the tree trunk into the tunnels and eat the fungi. So slugs and snails eat the fungi, and the fungi eat the tree. One stormy day, a strong wind whips through the forest. The old oak bends with every gust. Rain pelts its branches. Wind tosses its leaves through the air. Lightning flashes and sizzles down its trunk. A thunderous crack startles the porcupine sleeping nearby. The tall oak begins to topple. Squirrels feel the trembling and scramble out of their hole. One strong gust of blustery wind tears the great oak's roots from the ground. The tree crashes down, shaking the forest floor. Branches break, limbs splinter, and leaves scatter. Now it's a giant log. So the mighty oak is now simply a log. Soon the storm stops and the sun comes out. An umbrella of leaves and tangled branches block the sunshine from the forest floor. The porcupine comes out of its den. Squirrels scamper to see the old hole that was once their home. So here we have squirrels. Porcupine is over here. Under the log, ants rush about, carrying white bundles of babies. A spider crawls through the cracks and crevices, searching for a dry spot to place her egg sac. Millipedes settle between the log and the wet ground. For now, they are safe from the spider. Termites soon discover the fallen log and move in. They not only eat the rotting wood, they lay their eggs there too. So before, this was actually the spider here that was finding a spot for the egg sac, and these are the termites down here. These little black ones are the termites. 3 or 4 years through hot, cold, wet, and dry seasons, ants, beetles, there's a beetle, fungi, slugs, Snails. I'm looking for the snails. It's like a treasure hunt. It's like an I Spy book. I don't see the snails. Spiders, millipedes. Oh, here are and termites live in the log. These might be the termites. I'm not really sure. One winter, the porcupine's hollow log collapses and he moves in to the oak log too. So all of these animals are living inside of this oak log. In the spring, beetles snap, and click their bodies and flip high in the air before settling. Whoops, let me fix my camera. Before settling in the log. Salamanders, frightened by the noise and the sudden movements, dart under the log for safety and stay. In the summer, pillbugs and slugs crawl inside the cool, moist log to keep from drying out. Pillbugs eat dead leaves. Salamanders eat the pillbugs. Slugs slip out at night and eat almost anything. The old log provides both food and shelter for the millipedes. They eat decaying plants and trees, but spiders eat the millipedes. Lots of food chains you could write about. Here you see the salamander eating the pillbug. Several more years of hot, cold, wet, and dry seasons pass. Time, weather, and the chewing and pecking and boring and tunneling of many animals and insects make the inside of the log spongy. The outer bark becomes soft and damp, and gradually it falls to the ground. Wood-boring insects have no wood to bore. They find another log. The woodpecker hunts for other trees to peck. Spiders spin their webs in drier spots, and the porcupine moves to a more solid log. Slowly, a lush green blanket of moss carpets the rotting log. Its thick roots break down the wood. Over the next few years, the log crumbles. What is left looks like dirt. It is dirt. So here you can see underneath the dirt, and we've got worms in the dirt over here. Earthworms move in. They turn the soil over just as a shovel does. They burrow down and break up the soil just as a rake does. In about 10 years, the rotting log has become a mound of rich black earth. One autumn day, an acorn falls from a nearby oak tree. The squirrel buries it in the rich soil. A seedling oak sprouts and grows until one day, in the deep forest, another great oak tree stands. Squirrels move in, so do carpenter ants, beetles, and woodpeckers. The ants build nests, the beetles burrow, the woodpeckers peck, and for years life goes on inside in the oak tree. Then one night, the wind whistles through the trees, the old oak bends and shakes, it crashes to the forest floor and becomes another giant log. So there's my story. I thought that was really appropriate for our science unit. You are going to be writing about one food web that you learned about in this book over here. So hopefully you took some good notes, and you're going to fill out a Google form with your food web that you observed in this book.